find it. If you don't find it, create a need for the people.
God has given us.
He's spoiling our daily bread.
I always talk about is that when you look at adverts for alcoholic beverages,
Well, welcome back. This is still the Morning Light with me, Laura Lawson, and this is the segment where we talk about matters that are important. So today we are having a conversation. We are discussing something that affects almost everyone, and it has to do with money, managing money in today's economy. Now, you know, with rising costs and changing financial realities, many people are asking how they can better manage what they have and build a more stable future. You know, sometimes we work, but then you don't know where the money goes. You have the money in your pocket. By the time you get to the house, poof, it's gone. So, well, joining me in the studio is Reverend Nana Adjei Kufuor Yeboah. Now, Reverend Nana Adjei Kufuor Yeboah is the branch pastor at Keeper's House Chapel in Adenta. He is married with 3 children and a banker turned entrepreneur. He's the best person to talk to us about money. Reverend, you're almost welcome to the Morning Light on Sunny TV.
thank you so much. Thank
Great.
you so much.
Please, we are struggling. We don't know how to manage our money. So, well, we'll come back to you, right? But before we do that, you know, before we have our conversation, we took the pleasure of getting onto the street to get some information. Let's check it out. We'll be back.
How do I manage my money? At the work, I get money, but this economy, I think it's not manageable. It's kind of a canny person and answer. We trap bet here, you see, your girlfriends in your money, man, you see, it's kind of they want to be managed. What you say? I will say, we'll get to the American. Accounts and accounts and answer. And that's you cry, you didn't bet say 5 million.
So me like this, I've picked up some things on point that, this month I want to make these savings, this month I want to use this and this. That's how I manage my spirit or my budget. That's how I manage mine.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the studio with me, Laura Lawson, of course, and I'm in the studio, Reverend Nana Adjei Kufuor Yeboah. So, well, I want to ask our first question. Why do you think so many people struggle with managing money today?
Thank you so much. That's a very important question. It's a reality on ground.
It is,
like
actually.
you said, most people are having this challenge, and the reasons are quite diverse. Number one, many people don't even appreciate what they have. Yes, sometimes we think that what we have is so small because you're looking at what you have and what you want to get and where you want to get to, and you feel it's so small. And so many people don't appreciate the little they have.
Right.
And sometimes that discontentment makes them throw in the towel, like, I can't do much with this. But money responds to plan. If you can plan with a little, you can see much. And so that's one. The other thing is, a lot of people don't even budget. Yeah, so the money comes and there's nothing, they don't really know exactly what they're going to do with it and where this one is going to. You need to track your money. So when the money comes, before it comes, there should be an assignment given to the money. For every peso, for every cedi, for every dollar, there should be an assignment given to the money. If you don't have an assignment for it, you might resign into confusion. You might resign into depression.
Right.
And so it's important to know what this is for and why it is for that particular purpose. It's so important.
So you're saying that
Yeah.
one of the reasons why we are not able to manage our money is discontent. We have it and we don't know what to do with it.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
Some people are looking at what others have. We compare a lot. They are wearing this, they are wearing that. We are on different journeys in life.
We actually are.
Yes.
Right.
And once you're comparing with somebody, you will not feel content with what you have. But the little in your hand, I like what Jesus did. He took the 5 loaves, 2 fish, and the first thing he did was to give thanks.
Wow.
The first thing he did was to give thanks. Then the next thing they did was to ask them to sit in groups of 50, planning. And then they began to share. After sharing that little, it multiplied to feed 5,000. They had 12 baskets left. It started with appreciation and then planning.
Wow. I will come to the practical version where I'm going to ask you, let's take an amount of, let's say someone earning, let's say 1,000 cedis, how we can build that. Because rightly, You said sometimes the money comes and the things we want to do are so much.
Exactly.
You look at it and we probably might just end up blowing it and all that. So we'll come to that. But let me ask you, what financial habits keep people stuck?
It's the people who
I know one, indiscipline.
try.
I mean, it happens to the best of us.
Yes,
So
yes. I mean, indiscipline is one major thing that causes a lot of people to be very stranded in
Yeah,
life.
financially.
Financially stranded in life. The other thing has to do with, I would say, being dissatisfied. Okay, being dissatisfied with what you have in hand. That particular posture makes you realize that no, this I have is not enough. I'm not going to be able to plan with this, and so because I'm not content with it, I'm not planning well with it. You are not able to move forward with anything you have. One of the things that I come to understand with money is that money is called currency. Currency means it's like water.
Right.
It flows.
It flows.
It flows. And so if you have money and you don't have the mindset of what water does, you will remain stagnant. You have to learn to know how to move money from one point to the other. And a lot of attitudes that people have is unable to cause money to move. If you stay money would eventually lose its potency.
Not stagnant.
Yeah, there's something called time value of money. Many people know how to just store money and don't grow money. Yes. And so I have money, I put it in the bank.
Let's delve into that because yes, we've been taught and we've been raised to actually learn to save money. And so sometimes we are more interested in, I have this amount in the bank and I don't want to touch it. I'm keeping it for a rainy day. And perhaps the rainy day is more of life and death. I'm lying in the hospital and I don't have anyone to tend to. That is the only time I want to touch that money. But perhaps I forget about the fact that I need to take care of myself, have a good life, going, coming, changing. There are some people who, for years, they've not bought clothes because it feels there. I have to either preserve that money. And then some people, we just don't have it. So at the end of the day, how are we able to marry the concept of what you're talking about?
So
make money flow in our life.
Exactly. I have a certain concept for managing money. I call it time, because money is actually the value of time.
Right.
Yes. And so T is for tithe, for a believer. T is for tithe. I is for your investment. M is for miscellaneous. And E is for expenditure. When you receive any amount of money, you need to put different weights on these four things I mentioned. I mean, the Bible talks about tithe, and we know that it's 10% of your earning. If you take the 10% out, so the first thing you're doing is that you're paying God. Secondly, you are paying yourself, investing. M is for your miscellaneous. You never know what will happen. So let's say you take 10% for your tithe, 10% for your investment, take about 20% for miscellaneous. Never know what will happen. Leave the 60 for your expenditure. Now, everything you are doing, if you cannot fall within the 60, it is not yours yet.
Wow.
If you can't fall within that 60%, it is not yours yet. Yes, and so one of the things we need to appreciate is what we call urgent in our lives. Yes, there are some things, they might look urgent, but they are not urgent. Some of the things we buy are just buy away boredom. I need to get this thing because I'm bored. I need to get it because I'm stressed. I need to get it because I'm comparing with somebody. She wore that shoe, I'm wearing this shoe. I want to buy the same shoe.
I want to get the same
I want to get it.
Yeah.
There's a level you get to in life where buying expensive things is necessary because it adds to your brand. But there's a level in life you don't get there yet.
You don't need it.
You don't need it. You don't need it. Yeah, because it is not what you wear that defines you.
Wow.
You put a definition on it. Take that simple thing that might not have much of a price and wear it well and step out there in confidence. If there is anything you need in life, it's confidence. Be confident in who you are. Because money itself is also attracted to people who are confident. Money is looking to serve. It's looking for a master to serve. And the one that can command it. It is not about your title, it's not about your certificate, it's about your ability.
Command money.
That's it.
So teach us the confidence. How do we build the confidence in that regard?
See, it's a mindset. The Bible says, as a man thinketh,
so is he.
so is he.
Right.
You start from a place knowing that I have it. Because money, one of the definitions of money for me is that money is a reward to value.
Okay.
Yes. Money is a reward to value.
To value.
And so if I value myself and I add value to me, money will be attracted in my direction.
Right.
Everything we do, we pay for, is because somebody added value to something. We've been going to secondary school, eating soakings, gari and soakings and all that. So somebody put it together and called it kibo gari.
Yeah.
That little value is earning the person so much.
Right.
So for whatever you are, if you can add value to yourself, people will be drawn to it. The next thing is that you need to find the need of people. Because money, the Bible says that money is an answer to all things. It means then that if I will attract money, I should be solving questions because money is an answer. So what is the question in my community? What do they need urgently that I can provide? What can I bring to solve the needs of people? When I find solutions for people, they'll reward me with money. That's one thing. The other thing about money that makes money run to people is that you yourself should appreciate the fact that, hey, I am a channel of hope to people. So one of the things that brings money is that you must be a giver.
Right.
Once you give, you don't lack. Yes. Because once God finds you as a channel, He will ensure that the channel is always open to reach people. Yes. So the Bible says there's one that scattereth and yet increaseth. As you are scattering. But I would like to say this. You have to scatter with knowledge.
I wanted you to stress on this.
Yes.
Because there are some people, the Bible says we should give. So now they give more than they should.
Exactly.
They should.
Some
and then they are
people-
always broke, and those they give to never want to give back to them.
If you let every touching story touch you, your own story will be touching very soon.
But it's a touching story. It's supposed to touch.
Your own story will be very touching soon.
Oh my God.
Yes, so
I like that.
There's some people that just play on your emotions to buy into it. You are not responsible for anybody. God who created man is responsible for man. He can give you an opportunity to help and serve man. But you must appreciate that you must be alive to help people. And so take care of yourself first.
So how much are we supposed to give out? Does that fall under the miscellaneous you talked about?
Exactly. If it's not within your budget, look at it again. There's some people that will come to you and they are looking for something and they are placing an urgent need on it. You didn't work into my pocket. And so if it's not within my budget, I will give you what can be convenient for me and help you to find it somewhere else. Because if I give all that I have, how do I take care of myself to help others the next time? So you need to separate your emotions when it comes to giving.
But you know that it's not everybody who is financially intelligent.
That's another
We
thing.
earn money, but then we spend money and we don't even know how, like we started. We can still have the money, your paycheck comes in today, and before you realize it's out of the door. Now you may earn the same amount as I may earn, but you will know how to turn this money around for it to work for you.
Exactly.
I may not. Now, I am not financially literate like you. How do we get everybody else to understand these dynamics? Because it's like a whole course on its own.
Exactly.
There are a lot of people who are educated, are rich, actually have the money, but they don't know how to manage finances.
I think I mentioned the first for time as an acronym for it. You need to seek knowledge.
Right.
Yes. Find people who know what to do and they will help you. I mean, I have this amount. What can I do with this? You mentioned
Right.
1,000 cities.
Yes.
What can I do with this? They will guide you into go into this, go into that. Sometimes, you see, one of the things I tell my people in church is that every consistent commendation is a recommendation for a business venture. Like I see you and your dress is nice all the time.
Fantastic.
That commendation is a recommendation for a business. That where I get my dresses, can I get it in bulk? Speak with the person who supplies me. Put something
And
a
Blaze
bit on it.
Boutique, that is where you get it.
Exactly.
Fantastic dress.
And then I now become the middle person between the producer and the third party.
Right.
It was a commendation, has become a recommendation for a business.
Right.
So it's one way of identifying what to do with what you have. Another thing about identifying, how to start a business is that you look around and find a need. Sometimes you might not find a need, but you can create a need. Yes, you can create a need. You can be driving around town and you are not thirsty, but the way somebody has arranged the water, it will make you thirsty
Very appealing.
Yes. One of the adverts I always talk about is that when you look at adverts for alcoholic beverages, you can easily backslide watching.
Yeah.
They will create a need for
And
you.
the way they are swallowing it and the,
My goodness.
Oh boy.
Taste it and see.
Yeah,
They don't taste with a frown.
Right.
But in reality, that's how they look.
Exactly.
So you need to sometimes find it. If you don't find it, create a need for the people.
But then are you not pushing us all into the light of entrepreneurship? Because you see, identifying a need is tied to entrepreneurship. You identify a problem or a question, and then you solve it. Not all of us are entrepreneurs, or not all of us want to be entrepreneurs.
Exactly. I will advise this. Whatever business you are doing, 8 to 5, start something on the side. Yes. I'm saying this to say this. See, there comes a time where if somebody employs you, your job security can't be 100%. If you lose that job, what do you follow? They take your 8 hours. You complain the money is not enough, but you have 24 hours in a day. What happened to the 16? You sleep 8. Realize that the other 8, it was on WhatsApp, it was on TikTok, it was on Facebook. You don't do so. You look at the time you have left and realize that I could have done something with this. You don't need to be in a shop to run a business. Your status is an open office. That somebody can watch your status like, oh, you sell this, you sell tissues, you sell this, something little. And you see, everything you don't have, you can learn to get. Yes, I'm not naturally a business person, I'm not a marketer. Learn it. Because sometimes it is not what, I tell people this, you might not have a passion for this, but be passionate about whatever your hand finds to do. Yes, we were taught in the past that follow your passion, but let me tell you this, be passionate about whatever your hand, the Bible says, whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might. Yes, and I think that adding that to it, you'll be quite okay.
Let's put a pin in that. And that is Reverend Nana Adjei Kufuor-Yeboah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, he's admonishing us to take our time seriously. Now, time being tithe, I for investment, M for miscellaneous, E for expenditure. Well, it's still live better. We'll be back.
So where can you go to find encouragement? Be a part of a faith community. Get prayer. Grow in your faith. Watch inspiring videos and watch Christian TV anytime and anywhere for free. The Sunny TV GH app on iOS and Android. A great place to belong. Grow. Connect. Go. Free Christian radio and TV in the palm of your hand.
Well, welcome back. It's still the morning light, and this is a segment where we are talking money matters, how money affects our day. It is Live Better segment, and we have this segment with Reverend Nana Adjei Kufuor-Yeboah. Now, before we went, he was talking to us about how to manage our money, and we were doing that. But now, I'm curious in asking you, budget. And I'm sure the time acronym you gave to us talks about budgeting. How relevant is budgeting in today's world? Because yes, like I asked before, it could probably be for just the financially literate people. I'm sure a number of us don't even know what budgeting is. We just take our money and we are gone. We come back, it's finished, and we sleep. Is budgeting relevant in today's world?
Budgeting is so relevant.
So relevant.
It's so relevant. Without it, you'll be given into impulse buying. Yes.
Is somebody guilty? Yeah, blessed he's guilty, right?
Yes. Because you've not budgeted for it. You stepped out there, you saw it like, no, I have to get this. Once you have budgeted, you know that it's not within your plan. I'm not going for it.
No, but doesn't budgeting make you live stiffly?
That's how people want to look at it. It makes you live disciplined. Yes.
It makes you, for lack of better words, I think that many people who are into budgeting are, what's the word? Chisel. Because you know what? You go to them and everybody needs help at any point in time. And then, yes, you go and they're like, oh, I don't have it. They do. You see the person, and I'm not speaking for myself or anything, but you see the person enjoying something that you consider a luxury. And you are dying, you need the help. And you're hoping that the person can extend a helping hand and says, oh, I'm sorry, I don't really have it. Sometimes we look at those things, yes, we are putting our eyes into somebody's,
Exactly.
But the point is, you are looking at the person living the life, but you say you budgeted and this is not your budget and all that. How do we work that out?
So
doesn't it make you move away from the godliness of give?
So like I mentioned earlier on, I mean, if you have put it in your miscellaneous, you can afford for that. But sometimes people tell you stories and you realize that no, this is an urgent need and I need to make a sacrifice. That's where godly consciousness comes in. That it's not in my budget, but I need to attend to this urgent need. And you have to be led by God to be able to appreciate that. But I will go on to emphasize that budgeting is so crucial. Jesus had somebody who was handling the purse.
Yes.
Yes. Judas, can we afford this? And I believe that they had done a lot of budgeting. For that reason, Judas is seeing somebody, Mary Magdalene is pouring perfume on his feet. And it's like, no, we could have done this with this. We budgeted for, why don't you bring the money? So
We'll sell it and then we'll bring the money.
So even Jesus believed in that. He believed in that so much, like I mentioned earlier on. They finished serving the food, said, no, gather the pieces. Gather the pieces. It's budgeting that will let you see that there is value in a coin. There's value in a coin. I remember when I resigned from the banking industry, went into, I would say, full-time ministry kind of, and doing my own business. Before then, if there are coins in my car, I don't even see it.
Yeah.
But when I left, I have a pouch. I put the coins in there. Anytime I go to the washing bay, it is those coins I used to.
Wow.
Yes. So I like, these coins could do this much. So budgeting will help you to appreciate the little. Like I said, you track every dollar. You're able to know that I use this for that. And if you don't do that, you will not know, you begin to blame the enemy. Somebody told me that it looks like some dwarf is stealing my money. So no, a dwarf is not working anything.
Yes.
You are not budgeting.
Yes.
And so it's important to put a pen and paper to everything. And you see, the interesting thing about this is this. Money is a resource. If it's a resource, there's a source. God is the source of wealth. And if you don't plan with the resources He has brought you, don't expect more from the source. So budget is so important. It's so important.
So dealing with an everyday people, what are some of the simple steps that we can take to actually put our budgeting together? If we don't know how to work with Excel sheets and pen and papers and all that, how do we?
So when you receive your money, consider the needs, not the urgencies. Consider the needs. There are some things we call urgent. If we just allow time to pass, realize that it wasn't urgent at all. So consider your needs. Consider your projects, your plan. In the next 2 years, I want to get here. The next 3 years, I want to get here. And so I'm creating a fund for that particular project. Now, in our current state, Ghana and many other African countries, where inflation cannot be predicted, if you are budgeting for a project, at least add a certain incremental value to it. So the thing I'm going to buy in the next 2 months is 100 cedis. But let me budget 120. Because if I get there and the value is not the same, I will be able to have that shock absorber for it. And so every money you have a plan for it. Like we did the time, it's 100 cedis. 60% of it is going into my expenditure. Because it's 60%, it means that 60 cedis is what I'm going to use to pay for anything. If data will not help at this time, I need to look at how I'm spending money on data. If this won't help, everything that won't factor into it, I need to make sure I cut the excesses. One of the things that people will have to do to help them managing money is to also buy in bulk. Buying, even with data. I've realized that I use MTN and Vodafone. And so, for instance, for MTN, I think there's a particular package, unlimited. Yeah. So you buy that bulk, it lasts you for a month and more. Yeah. Unlike you doing every day 10 cities, 20 cities, you might have an SKBI, but before you realize, you have wasted a lot of money. So buying in bulk, you go to the shop, you're buying tissue, buy in bulk. Don't buy pieces because that can be more costly than you might think. The other thing you can do about your money is that have a mentor as well.
A mentor.
A mentor.
Lovely.
Have a mentor. The people who have a third eye for you. I want to do this. This is how much I have. If you are going beyond what you should spend, they will tell you. Sometimes, even your partner, your spouse or anybody, you can have an account that they are co-signatories to. Beyond this limit, I have to co-sign. If I don't have to even co-sign beyond this limit, the bank will have to call the person for verification.
Your own money?
My own money.
Beautiful.
Just a mentor. So that the person will help me to have a certain financial discipline
right.
on whatever I'm doing.
Right.
If not, I'll be crying to them and they will say, hey, you didn't do well with your money.
Right.
So have somebody to put you in check. I'm mentoring about 2 or 3 people currently for the next 6 months. And everything they are doing with their money, I want to know. I want to know. Okay, I'm giving this, I'm spending this, I'm sending this to this person. Let me know. I'm not going to take your money, but let me know. So that if there's any unfortunate situation, we know that no, we planned well, but this happened. It's an outlier. We see how best to manage things. And let me just, if I can speak more about getting into business.
Yeah.
There's something interesting I found about the life of Moses.
Right.
I don't quite recall Moses being a prophesied child. Like there's a prophecy that Moses is going to be born.
Right.
Okay? Bible tells us rather that when he was born, the parents saw that he's a proper child. They saw, and for that reason, they hid him. Some of us Christians, for everything about life, we are waiting on a prophecy. The prophet that my business is going to do well, and so I'm just running on the prophecy. No, you yourself look at what you are doing and consider it to be proper, and for that reason, pay attention to it. I'm selling oranges. There might not be any prophecy about it, but I consider this to be proper enough. Let me pay attention to it. How do I do it? The baby was hidden for 3 months. It's not everybody that must know what you are doing. No. Some people, when they get to know your ideas, that's how it ends.
Yeah.
They would discourage you.
Mess you up.
Yeah, so baby Moses was hidden. And I find this quite strange that a baby of 3 months is hidden and the neighbors can't hear that a baby has been born.
That's weird.
Yes. Because children, 3 months, they'll be crying and all that. You see, sometimes we have too many excuses why we can't do some things. Whatever they did to hide that baby from the neighbors, whatever you are doing, find a way to do it so well that there will be little room for excuses. I'm complaining, I don't have this, I don't have that. What you have is enough. Start something.
Right.
What you have is enough. Some people, all you need is a little bit confidence to go to somebody and say, hey, can you invest into what I'm doing? Can we partner into what we are doing? Yes. And so after 3 months, the next thing that happened was the Bible said that they packaged him in a basket, put him on the river now, and he floated straight to where the princess was.
It's purpose.
Now, every other boy was killed, but packaging saved Moses.
Wow.
Sometimes what you need is a little more package than what you are doing. Your cocoa is nice, but the packaging is bad. Yes. Your kelewele is nice, but the packaging is bad. If you will package your thing well, it will get to the hands of the princess. And you see, the ordinary person buying is different from the very important person buying. Some people are this very shirt, this very dress. Somebody can sell it to somebody $500. You can also get it for 150 cedis. It depends on who is buying it.
Right.
And so don't underestimate whatever little thing you are doing. See it to be proper, package it well. If it gets to the right hands, you have made a break.
Wow.
You have made a break.
This is deep.
You have made a break.
But you know what? Good. I would like us to talk about Christian discipline and indiscipline. You know, sometimes we wait on God. We are trusting God to come. Let me just share a little story. Years back, some decades ago, you know, I wanted to embark on a particular project, and you know how you be praying and waiting on God, and then the prophecy came. Oh, God is going to give you this amount. I wanted 50,000. God's going to give you this kind of amount for you to be able to do what you have to do. And I said, okay. At that time, I had accounts, but I wouldn't put money into their bank account. And for 3 years, I kept crying. God promised me the money is not coming, and the project is da-da-da-da. Then someone advised me and said, you know what? Let's try something. Every single coin that you get, put it into an account.
That's it.
Just pass it through the account before you take it out. And I said, okay. I didn't know what the end of it was, but I did that. At the end of the year, I went for my statement, and I was shocked. I had 70,000 through the account.
Exactly.
Then the person said, listen, you've been praying for 50,000 cedis. God has been giving it to you, but your expectation was different. You were expecting bulk, but it was coming in bits. And if you had started that project, and then we put in those coins into it little by little, perhaps by now you had that. Yeah. So, you know, I want you to talk a little bit about the Christian discipline when it comes, because sometimes we have expectations. Sometimes we expect manna to come from heaven, you know, and we are sitting down and we have so much ability inside of us to do something to bring us the money, but we are trusting God. So the little that you said in our hand, we think, no, that's not enough. We may rather want to sow it into the life of somebody else, and we are still broke. How do we deal with that?
The ocean has been sustained by the rain.
By
Little
the rain,
drops.
little drops.
Little drops. That's why the ocean has remained. And so the value of zero is the power of the one behind, in front of it. Yes.
The value of zero is the power of one behind it.
In front of it.
In front of it, okay.
So once one is there, the zeros can be many.
It multiplies.
So you might say, I have nothing. That's zero. But if you can stand as one in front of that zero, it's easy to be zero, it becomes 10.
Wow.
So don't underestimate any little thing. And one of the things I would say is that many believers have not learned how to build capacity.
Sure.
capacity. There's something interesting about the life of Jacob. Now, Jacob had, through a very interesting move, stolen the birthright of his brother Esau. Now, the father is supposed by tradition to bless the elderly and the elders of them all before he departs. And he says, life is transactional. Though you deserve it, you must earn it. And so get me venison, a food you know I like, and bring it before I will give you what you think you deserve. Yeah. Many a times, I'm a child of God, I deserve this. Life is transactional. What input are you making? So now Esau goes out, and we know the story. Rebecca eavesdrops. She hears the conversation, calls her son Jacob, hey, your father Isaac is about to leave. Do this, do that. This is what I see. Now, Bible says that he now puts the fur of the animal on the body and goes to the father. The father says, the food is nice, everything is like I wanted. But I see this. The skin is Esau, but the voice is Jacob. It is important to learn how to borrow skill from people to access your blessing.
It is important to borrow skill
Yes.
from people
To
to
access
access your blessing.
Yes.
Hey, that's
I
good.
like the way you speak your English. Can I borrow the way you speak your English? Can you teach me how to do it?
Do I have to ask you how much will you pay? Or that is, or you silently borrow it?
No. You see, if I can learn from a distance, why not?
Okay,
But
okay, I
if
get
I
what you
can
mean.
get closer to be mentored by you,
Right.
all the better.
Right, I get you.
All the better. And so, borrow skill. The prophet told the woman, borrow vessels, not a few. This oil, you don't know the potency in this oil. It can multiply if it can bring more vessels. And so, for whatever you are doing, learn to do more. Skill, enhance your value. Like I mentioned earlier on, money is a reward to value. If you can enhance what you are doing, you'll be amazed where you will get to.
Wow.
You are selling on some small distance. Set it right.
Package it.
Set it right. Set it right. People will be drawn to something that's beautiful. Bible says, man look at the outside, God look at the inside. So what you are presenting is important. Your output is very important. Your packaging is very important. And so I want to advise everybody, learn to build capacity for yourself. Build it. In my church, one of the things I'm doing especially the youth, is that after service, we do 3 services. After service, we have an AI training, free.
Wow. Wow.
My first girl is 10 years. And by that training, she's able to do her own cartoon animation. Yes, she's doing her own animation. She's doing her own songs. I mean, now I can do a lot of things. And I said, I'm going to create a YouTube channel for you. Do your other thing.
Yeah.
What happened? Her mates are in school. We are all doing science. We are doing life skills, whatever it is. But she's added something to herself that is going to give an advantage in life.
Yes.
What's your competitive advantage? What's your unique selling point? What makes you stand out? You need to find that thing and enhance it. You can always be better. And I thank God for when we're going about what they used to write in our terminal reports. More room for improvement. Don't settle. Don't sit. There's more room for improvement.
Well, there's definitely more room for improvement. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a thought-provoking segment. Live Better is the segment. And I'm telling you, I don't want to leave the presence of Reverend Nana J. Kufuor-Yeboah because what he's sharing, I'm sure you and I, we know we've benefited from it. Rev, we need you back in the studio. Because our money is suffering and we need to start turning things around. It's not just about the prayer. It's not just about the word. He's talking about packaging. He's talking about budgeting. He's talking about you being disciplined. He's put it all together for us. Now, if you don't take this and start running with it to change your life, what else do you need? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We want to say a big thank you to you, Reverend.
Thank you so
We are
much.
most grateful.
Thank you.
You've given us something to chew on for the day, and I'm sure for the month and for the rest of our lives. If there are some changes that we need to make, I think the time is now. We're most grateful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming into the studio.
Thank you.